Good afternoon. Today, I'm going to talk about decision making during this time of crisis. As the discussion has turned to opening the economy, remember what I said previously. Whether we open next week, next month, or next year, there will be people that will say it is too soon. Currently, many pundits and politicians are framing this decision as a binary choice between the opening of the economy and people dying. This is fear-mongering at its worst. Equating wanting to open businesses to wanting people to die is asinine. Not opening the economy has many significant health risks in and of itself: homelessness, drug abuse, mental health, depression, physical abuse, and suicide, just to name a few. The fact is that we know that part of our population that is most vulnerable. There are options to protect the vulnerable population while also getting the economy working again. As my wise uncle used to say, there are no problems, only solutions. I prefer to focus on solutions. There are plenty of people that want to point fingers and play armchair quarterback. There will be plenty of time for analyzing the actions that we have taken. I am sure some were good decisions and others were not. Some people are determined to try to assign blame, spewing hate for people they don't like and contradicting every decision made. Right, wrong, or indifferent, the strategy that has been chosen in Illinois is the path we have taken. Second guessing is a waste of time. I prefer to look forward and help solve problems that arise, adjust our approach, and help Orland Park get through this time. What I do know is that we have over 30 days of new information from the last major decision that was made, and we have not adjusted or adapted. We would have lost every war we ever fought if we didn't adapt or adjust with new facts on the ground. With that said, I want to talk to you about the facts that I pay close attention to and track regularly. A number that I pay very close attention to is the number of cases by onset date in suburban Cook County. I look at the onset date because symptoms and testing lag. I look at suburban Cook County because the density and public transportation in the suburbs more closely match Orland Park. Cases by onset date have been steadily declining, which is great news, and were updated showing a peak in the last week of March. I also closely watch the amount of resources in our area hospitals. Resources have remained available throughout the crisis and have been slowly increasing during the last 2 weeks. This is also great news. While I am aware of daily deaths, it is not a useful statistic because it tells us more about what happened 2 or 3 weeks ago than it does about what is happening today. As the governor has pointed out, it's a lagging indicator. I also pay attention to hospitalizations and total testing numbers in the state, county, and Orland Park. The hospitalization numbers also are positive. Testing is another story. We need more testing. More testing won't change the hospitalization numbers or the deaths, but it will help us better understand COVID-19 itself, how it is transmitted, how deadly it truly is, etc. Without more testing, including antibody tests, we are making decisions in the blind. When it comes to decision making as mayor, my philosophy is pretty simple and comes from a lifetime of experience, but was most heavily influenced by my parents and by my time in the military and in combat. First, let the Constitution be my guide. The scariest part of this whole crisis is that people are so willing to throw the Constitution aside because of fear. Times like this is precisely when we need the Constitution the most. It keeps us from giving in to fear and to a herd mentality. It slows us down and helps us think about the ramifications of the decisions we make. Second, don't eliminate your options until you must. Third, evaluate your decisions based on expected results. It is important that the efforts made achieve results and are not made just because it, quote, feels good to do something. Fourth, measure the results of your decisions and adapt as needed. Lastly, when in doubt, do the right thing. This sounds simple, but when in doubt, by the right thing, I mean just do what would make your mom proud. Some people feel that, quote, we need to do something. That is a philosophy, but one, in my opinion, that is driven by fear and the herd mentality and not the leadership and decision-making philosophy that I subscribe to. Doing something without result is a waste of finite resources. An example is the idea of giving $100 to every household. That would cost the village about $2.2 million to, quote, help people and businesses. This would get paid through raising your property taxes. This means that homeowners would be giving money to renters and that closed businesses would be giving money to businesses that are open. In other words, this idea feels really good, but when you look at it deeper, you realize that the results are really bad. There has been a lot of concern expressed by some about the decision to announce our summer event lineup. What went into this decision? First, I want to remind everyone that President Trump announced a blueprint for reopening America, and Governor Pritzker announced that he is working with regional governors to reopen our economy. Our decision to continue to plan for our summer events is consistent with these reopening plans at the state and federal levels. All of the reopening plans and studies that I have seen suggest that the beginning of reopening to complete reopening will take 4 to 6 weeks unless there is a setback. If we open at the end of Governor Pritzker's stay-at-home order, that would mean that everything will be open by mid-June, including large events. Why would Orland Park not host events? I realize that some people will be afraid, but the fact is some people will be afraid for the rest of their lives. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Personally, I hope we return to normalcy, and I would hate to make decisions to cancel events before we need to. Specifically, some of you have asked how we could possibly be hosting our Memorial Day event. First, Memorial Day can't be moved. It is a national holiday that is very important to America. We have modified the Memorial Day event. It will either be outside with appropriate social distancing measures or will be held virtually. There will be no color guard or rifle volley. Other details will be adjusted to ensure the safety of everyone involved. Others have asked, why are we keeping the concert series? If the concerts were canceled today, we would be on the hook to pay the bands because a prospective emergency 90 days ahead of time cannot be declared. If we refuse to pay, the village would be sued. Also, canceling now would certainly lead us to being blackballed by future performers. If conditions dictate that it cannot be held and large gatherings are not allowed, then we can cancel the concert at no cost except for our marketing efforts. We will know a lot more in 90 days than we do today. In order to have a successful event, we know from last year that we need time to market and we need to sell tickets in advance. Therefore, we need to start selling tickets. We also know that to be successful, we must plan for success. If a show gets canceled for COVID-related reasons, we will provide refunds. It is also relatively easy to cancel a concert, even on short notice. Since these events can't be held if they are not planned, we are continuing with our planning efforts. As decisions go, this one was really easy. On one hand, we could cancel the shows now. This would cost the village $214,000, result in us being blackballed, and eliminate any option to hold the concerts this year. On the other hand, we can keep the option open to hold the events, and if circumstances require us to cancel, we can do so for only the cost of marketing, which at the worst case is less than $80,000. It would reflect poor leadership if we were to cancel now when we don't have the facts and when it would cost us more money. Plus, how horrible would it be if the facts showed that we could have held the concerts and we canceled it in April because we were afraid and pessimistic? Personally, I am optimistic and hopeful that we will be able to return to some sense of normalcy. Speaking for myself, I will not be dragged into living my life in fear of a virus. I think that most of you feel the same. The village will continue to plan for reopening. I have now sent 2 letters to Governor Pritzker requesting that we begin to open some of our businesses. If our grocery stores and hardware stores can see 2,000 to 3,000 customers a day with no cases traced to them, there is no reason that some of our other businesses like flower shops, garden centers, craft stores, state parks, golf courses, and appliance stores can't open. So far, I have not received a response, but I will continue to ask the governor to adapt and adjust his plan based on our new information. The village is currently working on a reopening plan so that we are prepared for this eventuality when it does come. When we do reopen, it will be important for everyone to continue social distancing, follow good hygiene practices, and above all, stay home if you are sick. It will also be important for the vulnerable populations like the elderly to continue to avoid contact with others until informed otherwise. In the meantime, everyone should continue doing what they have been doing because it's been working and you've been doing a great job. Stay home and stay safe. Thank you very much.